So many people think like, oh, well, I want to say yes to every job. Like, I don't want to say no to money. But it's funny because it's like in the long haul, it's actually costing you more money. Picking your niche solves a lot of problems.
Significantly. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I hope you have enjoyed this marathon of Gina and Dielle talking on the podcast all about how to hit your biggest sales goals this year and clean up your finances this year. We talked all about sales trends, money trends, mindset trends for 2026 from sales and money problems that we're seeing with both of our clients. And so make sure to listen to all the other podcasts that we've done, and make sure to also start at the top where we talk about our app. And so we are launching a small business money app, and you could go to smallbusinessmoneyapp.com to sign up for the wait list. And there you'll learn about our coach-a-thon that's happening next week. On June 1st, we're doing an 8-hour plus coach-a-thon where you could call in and get direct money and sales coaching from us, two seasoned millionaires. And then also we are going to be launching our Kickstarter for the app. And so there'll be multiple opportunities for you to invest, for you to get value, get a goodie bag, also high-end coaching from us. And it's just going to be an amazing time. So make sure you join us. So on this episode, we are actually going to sample what it's like to be on the hotline with us next week. And so we have some questions that we received, and we're really excited. We had people submit in both money and sales. And so we'll talk about money and sales. And these are really good. And I think a lot of people are going to get a lot of value from this. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's dive in.
All right, let's go to the first one. Meet Brittany. She is 36 from Atlanta, Georgia. So she is a mindset and business coach for women in corporate who want to go out on their own. She sells an 8K 101 coaching package, and she has about 12,000 followers on Instagram. She left her HR director role 18 months ago. So brand new entrepreneur, married, no kids, rents an apartment in Atlanta and makes 6 to 10K months, but wants to swing out more. So let's start with the money question. So she said, I keep having 15K months followed by 3K months, and it's making me anxious. Do I pay down my student loans first or start investing? I feel like I'm spinning my wheels financially, even though the business is growing.
Brittany. Oh, Brittany. I'm like, what a cute question. I don't mean to be patronizing, but I'm like, oh, I'm acting this way because I'm like, oh, this is a non-issue, Brittany. So, okay, I'll take it real quick. Brittany, this is normal. That's not going away. 15,000 a month, 2,000 a month. I went from my highest cash month ever in my business was last November, $121,000 a month. Boom, to crash down to $50,000, less than half. And I know it sounds like still a lot of money, and it is, but I have big expenses now, right? Like this is just never going away. So it's not a problem you actually have to worry about, which is really good news. Now, to follow up, what should you do then? It's very, very simple. Ready? During the high cash months, you're going to save money. And during the low cash months, you're going to use your savings to pay your bills. That's all I want you to focus on right now. I don't want you to worry about the student debt or the investing or any of that yet, especially since you haven't gotten this inconsistent income thing down. Just focus on saving during the high cash months and spending your savings during the low cash months. Put your student loans on minimum payments. We're going to get to investing. But in order to get to the investing side, we have to set owner's pay. There's a couple steps, but right now, all you got to do is save during the high and spend during the low. Okay. And just know that from a mindset perspective, this is never going away. You didn't do anything wrong whatsoever. Every single business on earth has this. And I know it doesn't feel like it. I know it feels like online. It's like make consistent 10K months. Nobody is making consistent 10K months. Nobody. Okay. That's not a real thing. It's different every month. So, yeah, that's what I would say. DL, do you have anything to add? Would you agree?
I forgot how much you believe in inconsistent income. I haven't heard you talk about that in a while. Yeah.
Put me in, coach.
Yeah.
I got the answer.
No, that was good. That was good. What about when she was saying do I pay down my student loans first or start investing?
So once we get to that point, and I'm just going to go ahead and assume you have a big enough household income, maybe with your spouse to decide to do that right now. If your student debt is low enough interest, I would say 7% and below, don't pay that shit off. Just put it on minimum payments and forget about it. Invest. because the stock market on average, regardless of whatever's happening this year, the stock market on average returns 10.13%. That is the 100-year average from the S&P 500. So that includes averaging in the Great Depression and 2008 recession. So even with all of that, we grow about 10% a year. So if you're spending 7% on interest on the loan, but you're making 10% in the stock market, you're still netting, whatever, 3%. So you're better off investing. But if it's very high interest, like 9, 10, 11, 12, then probably consider paying down the debt first.
Math, simple math.
It's literally math.
Yeah. Amazing.
I tell so many of my clients, in fact, I think I've told you this, Dielle, just put it on minimum payments and never think about it again. Well, there's so many higher value things, higher ROI things you can do with your money.
Yeah. And I think, I do believe there'll be student loan forgiveness, especially because she's in the States. Some of the questions aren't from people in the States, but I definitely think in our lifetime, we'll have some sort of student loan forgiveness in our lifetime.
Crossing our fingers.
Crossing our fingers, yes.
Voting at the ballot box.
Yes. Oh, especially with Gen Z and the way they've been operating. Anyways, don't mean to get political. Okay. Sales question from Brittany. She said, I get tons of people watching my stories, saving my posts, DMing me saying I'm inspiring them. But when I open my program, it's crickets. I've had 3 discovery calls this week and all 3 said, I need to think about it. What am I doing wrong? Oh my gosh. Okay. So a few things. If you're inspiring, I actually think it's the same problem, just shown differently through content and through sales calls. If you're inspiring, but nobody is moving forward, you're just missing urgency. Why should somebody invest in you today? Why should somebody invest in you now? And that doesn't mean you need a flash timer or you need to be like 2 spots left. That really doesn't move people. Like if you have 2 spots left, but they don't know how you can solve their problem, it doesn't matter. So I would just be thinking about, okay, what can I do to articulate the value of solving a problem that they have today? So a mindset and business coach for women. Okay, yeah. So thinking about selling them on the value of leaving their job today and leaving their job right now. What are the benefits that will help them with their goals right now? What are the benefits of entrepreneurship? So getting very clear and specific on that. Also, even micro wins on like, I'll help you put together a content strategy that will help you save up your first 9 to 5 payment within the next 30 days. Like where can they see smaller wins even right now? So selling that.
Thinking about like be ahead of the game in case you get laid off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of layoffs happening out there right now. Having a business on the side while
have a profitable side hustle. Where can you be showing them, okay, this is what's going to happen when you work with me within the first 30 days, within the first 90 days. They want to see quick wins and tangible results. And that may be something that you're struggling with. You might be selling them dream world versus, okay, if I spend this money, what's going to be the result that I get? Let's go to the second one. Michelle from Toronto, Canada.
I love my Canadians.
Okay, so we have another business coach, Michelle, 43. She's a B2B sales coach, so a little different, working with small business owners and entrepreneurs. Been doing this for 7 years. She charges 4,500 Canadian dollars for a VIP day, all referral based, no online presence. Husband is a teacher, 2 kids in middle school, earns around 9 to 11K a month, but feels completely maxed out on time. So her money question is, I've been running this business for 7 years and I genuinely don't know if I'm building wealth or just making a living. I pay myself what I need. The rest sits in my business account. My accountant files my taxes, but nobody's ever talking to me about what's actually growing my net worth. Where do I start?
This one's very simple. It's just math. Okay, Michelle, here's what you're going to do. Your owner's pay is not determined by your bills at home. Meaning, I don't just pay myself, oh, well, my rent is this and my health insurance is that and my gas is this, so that's what I'll pay myself. That's not how you determine owner's pay. You determine owner's pay on the business side. So it's very simple. In the last year, what is my average monthly cash collected? You can ask your accountant for the P&L and just take 2025 revenue, divide by 12. That's your average per month. And kind of going back to the last question, that helps us figure out, like map out the inconsistency. So there's going to be high cash months and low cash months. We're getting the average in the middle. Then you're going to do the same for expenses. What did you spend in 2025? Divide by 12. So let's say that you're bringing in, I'm going to make it easy, $10,000 a month in on average, and you're spending $4,000 a month out on expenses, that means your average monthly profit is $6,000, right? Amazing. Great job. Cool. Now, your profit has 3 jobs in your business. Number 1, your profit, if you have business debt, a portion of that profit needs to be used to pay the minimums. So let's say you do have some debt for the business, and let's say the minimum payments are $700 a month. Actually, I'm going to make it easy for myself. $1,000 a month. Subtract that. So 6,000 minus 1,000, 5,000 left. Great. But now the other thing is we have to account for taxes because you are taxed on profit, not revenue. So you're not taxed on the $10,000 revenue. You're taxed on the $6,000 profit. What is your tax rate? Let's just assume it's 30%. So we're going to do $6,000 times 30%, $1,800. Great. So now we're going to subtract that. So now we have what is left, which is like $3,200. That is what you can afford to pay yourself. Now, if you're just paying yourself $1,000 because you're like, well, that's all my bills. Well, you have $2,200 extra sitting in the business that's just accumulating month over month over month that you could be paying yourself. And you asked about wealth. How are you going to build wealth? Wealth building happens in the personal finances. The only way you build wealth in personal finances is by having excess. So every month you're leaving money in the business is month that you could be building wealth. So I just think it sounds like you just need an owner's pay raise. And then it also sounds like you need to put your accountant to work. A lot of people just have the accountant and they're like, okay, I'll talk to them at the end of the year. No, put them to work. What questions do you need? What, like literally asking them questions, making them give you answers, making them create strategy for you. You're paying them. So put them to work.
What are the top 3 questions everyone should be asking their accountant?
Number 1 is like the basics, like what is my money in, money out? I think that should go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyways. And I think that like not waiting till the end of the year to do that, please. Like that needs to be a monthly conversation. The other thing is, what is my estimated tax liability? I like to know that every single month. I don't want to wait until the end of the year to then have to save up $100,000 in 3 months. I want to know every month, what should I save this month? And then the third question, most important, what can I do to lower that? That's the accountant's metric. Like if you think about an accountant, their core metric is how do we lower taxes? So you got to make them lower the taxes for you. Beware. Lowering taxes, the primary way an accountant is going to lower your taxes is by finding ways to lower profit. If you want to go and buy a house, the mortgage broker looks at your profit from your last 2 tax returns. So I want you to be aware that that's the accountant's job, but I want you to be aware that your job is to set the goal, not just follow what the accountant says because they're, I don't know, the money person. No. They're the task doer, but you have to have the goals and the strategy, or not the strategy, but the goals. And then they create the strategy. I'm very curious to hear what you say about her sales problem because I have thoughts. I think we're going to have the same thought.
Well, did she share her sales problem? Not yet.
Oh, I just identified one then.
Oh, say it.
The referral-only based business.
Oh, yes.
That's a problem.
Yeah, massive. It's not a problem. It's a risk.
Okay, I like that, Dielle. Thank you.
It's just a risk. Yeah, because it's working for her, right? It's just a risk.
It works until it doesn't work.
Yeah, until there's none. Yeah, I remember I had a client where like 50% of her launch income came from affiliates. Mm-hmm. And then the affiliates were like, we don't want to promote you anymore. We want to promote our own stuff. That income gone, right? Yeah, done overnight. So yeah, you never want all your income based off of other people. Yes. To that point, that's exactly what her sales question was, just in a more formal setting. She said, every single client I have came from a referral. I love that, but I'm terrified. One dry patch and I'm done. I want to build something online, but I don't even know where to begin. I don't have an audience and I feel like I'm way behind. Is it too late? Never. It's never too late. I feel like a thought I've been having about social media recently is it's easier now than ever before. It's easier now than ever before with the engine of the algorithm and how tight. Yeah. Well, I have to remind myself with the engine of the algorithm. Like I think about TikTok, there was no way I could have gotten the reach that I got on TikTok back in 2018 on Instagram, where I started my business, like there was no going viral on Instagram back then. Like it didn't exist. And so it was your followers. It really was dependent on your followers. But now we have such a big opportunity. So my thought is it's never been better. It's never been better. And to that point, something that I'm seeing here is, okay, so this is the protocol that I would do. So you're already spending a lot of hours on these VIP days. Here's what I want you to do. We're just giving her all the formulas and all the steps. I want you to, on your Zoom screen, or maybe you're meeting these people in person. Regardless, I want you to have a little notepad somewhere. Every time your client asks a question, write it down. Write down that question. Just take note of it. And if you can, if you have the wherewithal, if you can pat your head and rub your stomach too, write down your answer, or like a few notes about your answer. By the end of that VIP day, you should have 20, 30, 40 things. There's your content. Then I want you to have a separate content day where you just go through that list and you just answer questions on social media. If you do that for 90 days, you will have a lot of data on, oh, my people really like when I do mock sales calls, or, oh, my audience online really likes it when I overcome objections. You will then, quote unquote, find your thing online. You could find your thing online in 90 days and you'll be able to get traction. You'll know what type of content resonates with your community and you'll get followers. And so just make sure the CTA is to book a sales call with you, and so that people can book a sales call with you and you can start converting online. But yes, it's not too late. It's never been easier.
My clients on our group calls, they submit their questions ahead of time. I have like 500 questions in there. I could just, why haven't I done that before, Dielle?
Yeah, you have a bank right there.
I have a whole bank.
Mm-hmm.
And the answers.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, right there. You never, like, people like, I don't know what to post. I'm like, if you don't know what to post, you're not paying attention to the work that you're doing. Yeah.
I love that too, because I think that we've talked about this. I do so well in content when responding to a question. That's why I love being a podcast guest. Ooh, and like, I'm loving this already. I love a question. I struggle when I'm just sitting there being like, what do I talk about? Like, come up with a topic. Even if it doesn't come out as like, here's the question, here's the answer in the content itself. It's so nice to have a starting point of like, just giving your brain a little nugget to work with.
Exactly.
That's so smart.
Let's go to number 3. We have a private doctor in the UK, Birmingham, England. Dr. Priya, 45. She's a GP who went private 4 years ago. She runs her own clinic with one part-time receptionist. She sees 18 to 22 patients a week at $190 a session. She has a fantastic reputation, mostly word of mouth, married to an engineer, 2 kids, large mortgage, and a nice suburb. Makes great money on paper, around 160 pounds, but it feels like it disappears. So her money question is, I earn more than I ever have, but I genuinely feel broke. Big mortgage, private school fees, holidays, and I barely touch my pension since I've left the NHS. I think that's her old employer. I'm 45. Is it too late to sort this out? Where does someone like me even start? She said, I earn more than I ever have. So I think when she was working with the government, she was earning less. So now she's in the private sector and she's earning more.
Okay. Here's my thought. Number 1, you may be earning more revenue than you were earning salary, but your salary is like after all the hospital's expenses. As a business owner, your revenue is before all the expenses. So you may not actually be earning more than ever. You might be earning less than ever. So
way to pop her bubble.
I'm sorry. Well, it's funny. One of my little pet peeves used to be like, match your 9-to-5 salary. And I'm like, revenue is not the same as salary. In order to match my 9-to-5 salary, I need to have double the revenue. So I think like, that's my first question for you, Priya, is like, do you actually know your numbers? And I'm hearing that you maybe don't. So what I would want to know is, okay, great. So you're making $160K a year. Awesome. What are you spending on sterilization, on linens, on rent, on your assistant or your receptionist, on software? Where are you spending your time on inefficiencies by doing, your charts inefficiently, or like where are there leaks in your time? Because the other thing too is like, there's a couple things. You probably need to earn more money. And I'm sure that Dielle will have thoughts for you, but I'm like, can we push you to see more clients a week without degrading the quality by making other tasks in your day more efficient or automated. Number one. Number two, is there room to increase the price at all? That seems kind of cheap for me. Again, I'm coming from America where we have a messed up medical system, so I don't really know. But I'm like, is there room to increase the price? And then what are you actually paying yourself? So this all sounds great on paper. Like you said, it's great on paper. What are you taking home? Do you have a standardized owner's pay that you're paying yourself every single month, just like you pay your receptionist every single month? If the answer is no, I would actually start with like, let me set an owner's pay that I can commit to. And then let me ask myself, what's my goal owner's pay based on the lifestyle that I want to live? And what are the problems I need to solve between here and there? So like I mentioned a couple of them: efficiencies, automation, increasing your capacity. If you have a wait list, right? Increasing your capacity could mean more money in your pocket right now. Maybe it means hiring another practitioner and bringing someone into your practice. If you have that much demand, like that's money, latent money waiting for you. So I think there's a lot of things you could do, but I think it actually comes down to owner's pay. Now, a little word of advice: your personal expenses are not your business's problem. I know you have a big mortgage. I know you have private school. I know you have all these things. That's awesome. That's great. But if you make it your business's responsibility to pay you a certain salary that the business cannot afford to pay right now, you will bleed the business dry and it will go out of business. That is just like a sure path. So I need you to figure out the personal budget based on like what the business can afford to pay you right now as you work to increase it, which is what Dielle will help you with as well. But I don't want to see you bleeding your business dry if that doesn't need to happen. It's just such a shame, given that it sounds like you have great demand and great results.
Yep. Amazing. I think she has a sales question here, but maybe it'll tie in. I already think I know what she wants to do, but let's see. So her sales question is, I want to launch a private health membership, monthly retainer, premium access, the whole thing. But I'm a doctor, not a salesperson. I don't know how to pitch it to my existing patients without it feeling awkward, or I'm just after their money. How do I have that conversation? So to go roundabout a little bit, I actually think she has a niche problem more than anything. Going back to our first or second episode about sales trends, I broke down my visa framework for those who want to know more about how to have tighter messaging and tighter sales copy. But within this, she is a general practitioner. I think that's her biggest issue. She should niche down into a certain specialty. This sounds a little sharky, but I just want everybody to hang in there with me. When you niche down in any field, but particularly within health and wellness, when you niche down, demand skyrockets and you're able to charge a lot more. So I'm also speaking from experience, but also from a good perspective. So I had a chronic condition that impacted my women's health. And I saw a very, very specific doctor where she just saw people with my blood clotting disorder, like everything to a T, just like me. And she was $300 a session. Very, very expensive. But I was like, there's nowhere else for me to go. And she has healed this particular condition, which is very, very rare. So I don't want to go anywhere else. I'll gladly,
happy to pay the money.
I'm glad to pay the money. And she fixed me, right? She put my chronic condition into remission, exactly what I wanted. And so again, it sounds like, oh, I don't want to like niche down into a certain community that's struggling, but people want those specialized practitioners. I was just talking to my mom and I was like, Mom, you need to go see a specialist. Like, stop seeing your general practitioner. She was like, I don't even know where to find a specialist. Specialists are in more of a demand. So I actually think regardless of whatever you do, where can you niche down to a specialty? Then you can do everything that Gina recommended. You can increase your prices. You can see more patients. You'll have more demand. But I think you actually have a niche issue more than anything. Now, going back to your real question, which was about the membership, I like the membership. I think I said in one of these episodes that I'm actually looking for a concierge doctor. I wish you weren't in the UK. I would hire you. But no, I think people want that. A question I would ask yourself, let's put the salesperson down. Like, just put that down. The question I would ask yourself is, well, what do my clients want? Do they not want to go in person to a doctor if they have the flu? They're like, oh, I would love just to call in somewhere and get a script. Or would they love an in-person service? Like, oh, I hate having to, go all the way to the other part of the area in the UK you are to be seen. Like, I wish I could have that service. Do they hate waiting for labs? Would they like a more expedient way of getting their labs? Figure out what is your client's problem and then tailor the membership around that. Then you won't need to pitch it. You won't need to sell it. You won't need to do that. It's like, oh, hey, let's say, for example, everybody wants faster labs. That's what they're saying, being like, hey, actually, there is a way for you to get faster labs. I have this membership. That's an option if you want that.
To the problem they're bringing you.
Yeah. And that's it. That's it. You don't have to do this whole pitch or give them a fly or anything like that. It'd be like, oh, here's just the solution. And that's all it is. So the biggest advice I would give you is like, don't create your membership in a vacuum. Think about what are the most common medical or doctor frustrations that your people are having. And then where can you double down on that for the membership? Amazing. Okay. Our last one, construction business owner, Phoenix, Arizona, Danny, 39. Okay, so he runs a landscaping and hardscaping company. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means?
Is that like rocks and stuff in the landscaping?
Maybe hardscaping.
Hard? H-A-R-D?
Hardscaping.
Maybe it's like pebbles. Maybe it's like the rock. I think it's the rocks. I don't know.
Fun,
Danny. Look it up.
Fun. 8 employees in business, 9 years, does $750K in business, but takes home $70K. Always busy, always quoting, never feels ahead. Wife works part-time, 3 kids, owns his own home, but has a big mortgage. The business runs him. The money question is, my revenue goes up every year, but my bank account looks the same. I don't really understand my own financials. My bookkeeper sends me reports and I just nod. How do I actually figure out where the money's going and start keeping more of it?
I'm going to go a little out of left field, Dielle, because it's landscaping. Every single person in construction and field services has this story, like every single one to the T. High team expenses, high revenue, low profit, low take-home pay. If any, by the way, the fact that you're paying yourself $70K, good job, because there's a lot of people making $2 million paying themselves nothing. The thing you need to start with is you need to get out of your industry's sob story. You need to get out of your buddy mentality that you probably have with your other buddies who own companies. This, oh man, it's hard for us. And I'm not saying that you're doing that. I'm just guessing because every other person in construction I know has this. It's like it's kind of like the starving artist narrative, but for construction workers. I think you really need to set it aside. And I want you to internally raise your standards. If you raised your own standards and said, I will not accept this. The only way I'm going to continue running a company that requires this much mental, physical, and emotional labor is if I'm compensated at least 40% of the revenue. That's a very different number, right? Let's do that math real quick. So let's do 700K times 40%. And I just pulled that number out of thin air, but that's 280K a year. You probably would feel a lot better about this whole thing, right? You'd probably feel a lot better about the work, about the requirements, about all of it. Now we need to reverse engineer. What would it take for you to take home over 200K versus 70K? It's probably going to take, again, this is just my knowledge of the field services in general. You're probably doing a ton of things manually. Your guys are probably manually tracking your time. You're probably manually writing payroll checks. You're probably going on job sites to do estimates. You probably don't have someone who can do estimates other than you. So if you're sick or whatever, everything gets stopped up. Like, it's funny. There's something about construction where they don't want to spend any money if it's not labor or materials. And I'm like, I actually think that the solutions to your problems lie in operations. A landscaping company is an operations company, and they need to be tight, and they're probably not. And that's probably where all your profit is going. So you're probably overpaying for payroll. You're probably losing bids. You're probably under invoicing. God, I can't tell you how many construction companies it's like they finish the job and it's 2 months later and they still haven't invoiced because they're behind on sending their invoices because they don't want to pay for a software to send the invoices. It's all connected. So I'm just going to guess based on what I know about your industry that that's what's happening. But it starts by raising your standards. You do not have to be in the sob story of the starving artist, the starving construction worker, the person who sacrifices it all for the business. And it might mean temporarily like lowering the revenue. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, Dielle, because we actually in other episodes said don't stop selling when you're solving problems. But here's the way I think about it. Let's use a landscaping analogy. Your business is a garden and it's overgrown with weeds. And there's like plants in there you didn't even plant. And the path is like covered in weeds and all of that stuff. In order to fix the garden and have a beautiful garden that you love, you have to start by taking all the shit out. Take all the weeds out. Maybe you're going to take the pavers that are 20 years old out and dump them. You're going to reset everything. And then you're going to start planting things anew. Then you're going to start watering. Then you're going to start like cultivating. And you're going to have your beautiful garden. But it first starts by weeding everything. And I think that that's the part that people want to skip. They're like, I just want to make it all better. I just want a beautiful garden, but I don't want to cut anything. You have to cut in order to make space for new growth. Okay. Whether that's team members, whether that's processes, whether that's you being the bottleneck. But yeah, that was my answer. What do you think, Dielle?
What can somebody cut in construction?
Team is a big one.
How do they do that? How do they make that decision?
You have to look at this kind of goes back to what you said to Priya, the doctor. What is the specialty? What's the niche? What are you doing? And then is every single person on your team working towards that niche? Or do you have we do residential, but we also do landscaping for HOAs, but we also do landscaping for hospitals. And we have 100-mile radius. So we have to have 8 guys because they're all around the city versus I am the #1 landscape architect for this one neighborhood in this one city. So I only need 4 guys because I don't need 8 guys around the whole city. I need 4 guys in this one neighborhood, and they can do 3 houses in a day because they're all within a 2-mile radius, right? Making sure too that when I say process, I mean, think about the customer's journey through your business. Is the process fully efficient? Meaning, can somebody call you? Can they get a quote instantly? God, have you ever worked with a construction company or like a landscape company? It's a pain in the butt to get a quote. You call and they're like, well, we have to come out and see it. Okay, well then can we schedule it? Okay, well I can come by next Thursday. And I'm like, I'm already going to go and move on to somebody else, right? Like, is it fast? Is it efficient? And then are the team members, the 8 guys, are all of them fully maxed out on hours? Or do I have 8 guys working 20 hours a week, or is it lumpy, right? So I think it might not be team. It's just typically team.
No, yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. To that point, Danny said, I win almost every job when I meet people in person, but I lose tons of quotes on price. Clients always say we went with someone cheaper. I know we do better work, but I can't figure out how to make them see that before they make the decision. Should I even compete on price? Such a good question. Such a really good question. To this point, is construction a commodity, right? Okay, the flowers are potted, right? It's all pretty aesthetics, right? I think, again, going back to specialty, you need a specialty. Is your specialty beautiful backyards for kids? Right? Being and you're really appealing to that stay-at-home mom that likes to throw extravagant birthday parties, but there's dead grass and they can't put a bouncy house out here, right? And that's what you're really focused on. Or are you really focused and you're the best at that? You're the best at that. The other competitors, they might be cheaper, but it's not going to be kid-friendly, right? It's not going to be something that the dog can run around in. Or thinking about, to this point, maybe you're in another niche. Maybe you do landscaping, but for a nursing home, right? And you want it to be really calming and really peaceful. And you do more medical based practices where they're taking their patients outside a lot. And so I do think you need a specialty because you will compete on price and you'll have a commodity if there's no transformation or if there's no result. If it's just is mulch on the ground and grass outside, good, we don't care who does that, then you will compete on price. But it's oh no, they really thought about it for this particular problem that we're solving. We need it to be wheelchair friendly. We need to make sure that we could put a swing set out here. We need to make sure you're in Arizona. Okay, are they thinking about the heat or whatever that is, right?
Drought resistant plants.
Right, exactly. Versus, okay, just any old thing is up here and who cares if it's going to actually fit this environment here. And so I say, figure out a specialty. The specialty will help you not compete on price, or it'll be a further conversation than, okay, we could slap some grass out there and call it a day. You'll be able to have a more nuanced conversation there. And if you are winning in person, I bet you're already doing this. Right? I bet you're already having these more detailed conversations. You're like, well, what do you need? And show me pictures on your phone. Oh, we could do this. Oh, we could do that. You're buying in the client and you're helping them envision their space. You're already doing this and you're already specializing. But now we just need to take that to your website, to your marketing, so that the quote actually makes sense.
To this point too, there's kind of two types of landscaping. There's like overhauls, like, oh, it's a new house that got built and it needs a whole garden from scratch. Or there's maintenance landscaping, which is like cutting the grass, blowing the leaves, weeding the garden. And those are two different business models. So if you're trying to do both, you might be overbloated on expenses because you're trying to do completely two different business models. And going back to, it's an operations business, you're operating two completely different businesses if you're trying to do both. So it's probably hurting in the pockets in the end too. I feel like we got some themes here. Should we go high level and just talk about like what were the themes from today?
Sure.
Definitely niching. That's the one I heard from you the most. Like picking your niche solves a lot of problems.
Significantly. Yeah. You just stand out, right? You stand out, you know what the problem is. And to this point, a lot of business owners aren't niche down, don't want to niche down. And so you're instantly different without going back to finances, without doing a whole overhaul. You're just changing words on a website, right? Or you're just changing who you serve. It's one of the cheapest ways to make more money. It's free. It's free to change your messaging.
But so many people think like, oh, well, I want to say yes to every job. Like, I don't want to say no to money. But it's funny because it's like in the long haul, it's actually costing you more money.
Yeah, you'll say yes to a lot more because you just have to remember people don't know what you do. And what a lot of people think is, oh no, well, the client will think about it. Like, okay, landscaping, they'll come up with a vision and they'll come up with a solution and they'll come up and they'll know what it is. Or a doctor, oh, they know what's wrong with them. They know what they need. They don't know what they need. And so if they have to spend all that time dreaming and coming up with the solution, you lost them, right? They'll scroll on past.
For money, I think the big theme was operational inefficiencies. Like you have to start with the inefficiencies that is bleeding your money. And that's like really the first starting point. A lot of my businesses, they want to come in and they want to go, I just want to make more money. I just need to make more sales. And I'm like, if you pour water in a leaky bucket, the bucket will never fill up. And you're going to be spinning your tails trying to pour more and more and more water. And you're going to be disappointed because every month it's going to leak right out. And you're going to be like, I'm like killing myself and I'm having the highest cash months ever. And I don't feel any better. So you got to plug the holes in that leaky bucket through making your business efficient. And then when you turn around and make more money, it's going to feel amazing because you're going to be like, oh my God, I made more money and it overflowed the bucket right away. That's bonuses for me. That's bonuses for my team. That's money in my 401k. That's like, you immediately feel the benefit when you plug the holes.
Imagine us doing this with you. You can come on for 8 hours. You can come on, get your questions answered, and we'll have a conversation with you and we'll give you some advice on the hotline next week on June 1st.
Go to smallbusinessmoneyapp.com to learn more, get on our app waitlist, get updates, all of that. And we will see you at the Coachathon.
Amazing. Yay.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.